Our next question is from Alex Markgraf from KeyBank.
Thanks for taking my question, Jason. Maybe on crypto monetization. Thank you for the Bitstamp disclosure, but just on the core Robinhood monetization, can you talk a little bit about what you saw in the quarter and any effects you're seeing from smart exchange routing so far?
Yeah, so just as a reminder, so customers have two ways to engage with crypto trading at Robinhood. First is the method that we've had for a long time, which is a market maker method. That's where we get a rebate. We've been experimenting with pricing for some time, and you've seen us taking that up, and we watch closely to make sure customers are continuing to get a great deal. Just last week, we moved the rebate rate to 85 bips, so that's in place. The second way that customers can engage is direct with the exchange through the Smart Exchange Router, and that's really opening a volume tier discount. And based on volume, traders can achieve a 10 basis point commission on direct to exchange trading. And so far, it's early, but we like what we're seeing there. Customers are bringing, as they adopt direct to exchange, they're bringing more volume. And they're achieving more competitive rates, which is great. And we want Robinhood to be super attractive to high volume traders. But what's great to see also is that revenue per trader is going up for those that are choosing to engage with the exchange. So more revenue on the higher volume trading as well, even though it's a better rate. So that's what we're seeing so far. In Q2, we saw the blended rate or the average rate at 58 basis points in the quarter. In July, through the month of July, it was kind of in the mid 60s. So it has moved up a little bit.
What's up, everybody? It's Will B. Welcome to the Blacksmith podcast. I figured, why open up with the opener? Let's go mid-roll, So as you see right here, the Robinhood earnings call for Q2 2025. Again, Vladimir Tenev on the left, the co-founder and CEO of Robinhood. And then you have Jason Warnick, the CFO, the chief financial officer, the money man. That question, obviously they asked something about crypto, and he's explaining right now. Again, I am doing this earnings call so that you guys can get excited about where this company is going. Lots of people have no idea what a earnings call even is. I'm breaking this down, dissecting it bit by bit, breaking it down to the atom and molecule if necessary. Let's keep going.
All right. Thank you, Jason. We're now going to branch out to the audio queue. And so the first question we have on the line is from Patrick Moley at Piper Sandler.
Yes, good evening. Thanks for taking the question. So I just had one on the credit card offering. You noted that you've tripled the number of card holders year to date, but I think balances are only up about 45%. So I was hoping you could just elaborate on what you're seeing from credit card holders. Are you seeing, the economics that you'd like there, and how should we think about you ramping that into the end of the year? I think you said that you plan to accelerate the rollout, so any additional color there would be greatly appreciated. Thanks.
Yeah, we like what we're seeing on the economics. We've been meeting with the team regularly, and when we look at the revolve rate, that's in line with what we would hope for, and the book is performing really well at this early stage. We're gaining confidence and looking forward to putting that in the hands of more and more of our customers.
Yeah, and I would just add that if your question about balances, it usually takes balances a little bit of time to increase on the revolve. So it's not like if you increase cardholders by 3x, the balances don't immediately increase by 3x. There tends to be a little bit of a lag. So that's why you're seeing that.
All right.
So his question was about the Robinhood Gold credit card. We might get through quite a few questions in this video. I've been averaging about 3 each video. In fact, I think I did. The first video was Vlad, the CEO, talking. The second video was Jason Warnick. And because his section was so short this time, I took 2 questions in that. But other than that, 3 questions. We may get through some more, but I'm not going to spend too much time on the Robinhood Gold credit card. The Robinhood Gold credit card has now been rolled out to more than 300,000 members. So if you want it, become a gold member, sign up for it, and start earning. They have pretty good perks for their credit card.
The next question is from James Yarrow at Goldman.
Thanks for taking the question. Maybe could you just perhaps preview a bit more on the Robinhood chain? Maybe you could just talk about the advantages of building this for real world assets, and maybe just competitive advantages here versus other layer 2 blockchains, and then finally just any update on timing.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, since our event, we've just gotten lots and lots of calls for developers that either want to tokenize the shares of their own companies or otherwise jump on the tokenization of real world assets revolution and partner with us. I think the big advantage that we have with the Robinhood chain is that we have a captive audience of over 25 million customers in the US with now, over $1 trillion in assets under custody. So obviously we think that we can build a great developer ecosystem and we want to be great for developers, but that level of end user adoption and the user base that trusts us with so many of their assets, I think are going to be very, very difficult for others to replicate. So we think that gives us a big advantage. And also nobody's really going after this specific opportunity. There's a lot of chains out there that want to build the best chain for degen traders. But I think the opportunity for real world assets and the unique characteristics that they have to be put on chain is a bit of a unique one that I don't think anyone else is tackling as directly.
All right, so that one I'm going to have to research a little bit, the Robinhood chain / blockchain. But one thing I do know for certain, he did basically so eloquently say, we have nothing to worry about because no one does it like us, right? That's basically what he's saying. No one's going after precisely what we're going after. And I believe he just said they have 25 million users just in America. So what he's saying is, don't worry about it. We are set apart. And what he's trying to show you here is that he has a castle that's built, right? And he has a moat around it full of water. And the moat is not like a gap like this wide that you could just step over. He's saying our moat is wide enough that you couldn't jump over it and you need a drawbridge. So we are set apart from the land so that no one can get to us.
All right. Thank you, Vlad. The next question is from Brian Bedell at Deutsche Bank.
Great. Thanks. Good afternoon, guys. Just a question on the $100 million businesses. You're expanding that. Nice to see the traction moving up from 9 businesses. I think you mentioned, Vlad, there are at least a couple businesses now in the $50 million range. If you could just elaborate on those. And then 2 ones that are nascent, still staking and the tokenized stocks in Europe. Any sense of when you think those businesses on our annualized revenue run rate could get to say that roughly 50 million marker? Is that a year or 2 or longer term?
Yeah, I'll start, Vlad, and you can fill
the
in.
money man, the CFO.
Are,
Here we go.
Moving really up on the revenue run rate. I mean, you've got Trade PMR and Bitstamp. You've got prediction markets scaling really well. And you've got a number of others that are coming up behind it, whether it's index options, and
The Robinhood Gold Card.
The Robinhood Gold Card. I was going to say Legend as well. So there's a number of vectors there that are just gaining a lot of steam.
All right.
Okay. So the guy on the phone call, listen, you can tell these folks are probably asset managers, financial planners, financial managers from these other businesses. I think he was from Deutsche Bank. And what he said was, and they said this at the Q1 earnings call, or it might have been the annual meeting or the summit. I can't remember which one, but they did say that they had like 9 different businesses within Robinhood, and their latest acquisition was Bitstamp around mid-year, so June, July. I think it went through maybe July timeframe. So Bitstamp is the oldest crypto trading platform out there, right? So basically, what's happening is a guy on the phone. He wanted to know, he mentioned there was $900 million businesses. I'm looking at my notes. $900 million businesses within Robinhood, and I think he said two $50 million businesses, and then there were others that he said that they had that weren't quite at the $50 million business level, and he wanted to know how long it was going to take to get those businesses up to the $50 million range. And Jason Warnick, CFO, in classic money man fashion, if you don't know the answer to something, sometimes the best answer is not to say I don't know, is to just give amplifying information about the other businesses and say they're doing well, and then just end it at that and never answer the question. It's an eloquent way of saying I don't know, if you didn't catch that.
The next question is from Craig Siegenthaler.
He's writing
Bank
it
of
down
America.
though.
Hey, good afternoon, Vlad and Jason. Hope everyone's doing well, and I wish you'd be joining you there live. But I wanted to start with tokenized stocks. So one of your competitors also launched a tokenized stock product in Europe just this week, although their structure is different. And your launch is also structured under 3 phases. So I know there'll be progress ahead too, but if you take a step back, how do you think about the advantages with your SPV contract model and your end goal of running on Bitstamp rails versus the ERC20 tokens, which are backed by shares?
Yeah, I think one of the advantages of our offering, and again, it is going to progress in 3 different stages. We're in kind of stage 1 right now, but the advantage is every transaction, every mint and burn of a token has a corresponding transaction in the traditional market. So what that means is you minimize the risk of depeggings where you're trading an asset that's at a wildly different price than the traditional asset. I think that's a big thing, because in order for customers to gain confidence with the technology and the experience, they have to get a really good price. And so the system was designed for that. And in phase 1, as the supply of the tokens increases, we can build that up by creating a pretty close tie with the traditional markets. Now, phase 2, which we anticipate getting into it in the coming months, would be getting the tokens to trade on Bitstamp, and that will unlock 24/7 trading. So we're at 24/5 right now, which matches the U.S. market, but 24/7 would be unlocked when Bitstamp comes online with the stock tokens. And basically there you'll have the best of both worlds. When we have access to the traditional markets, we'll be able to match or beat the price there. And if the traditional markets are closed, like Saturdays and Sundays or holidays, you'll still be able to transact. And then there's phase 3.
All right. So if you haven't caught that, he talked about phase 1 and phase 2, right? Phase 1, I kind of missed it because I'm not so spun up on tokenization, so it's going over my head a little bit. But phase 2, what he was talking about with Bitstamp, when they come online, they already allow you to trade their tokens 24/5, which means the U.S. market opens from, I believe it is 9:30 Eastern Standard Time to about 4 p.m. or 4:30. And I'm saying I believe because I'm on Pacific Standard Time, so I'm 3 hours back. So I start trading at 6:30 in the morning. And I think by 1:30, it's already, the markets are closed because it's 4:30 in New York. All right. So what he's basically saying is that, if you're not familiar, they allowed, I think it was 1,000 stocks at the time when they started the 24-hour markets. They allowed them to trade 24/5. And he's saying he's matching they at Robinhood are matching the American markets with 24/5, but Bitstamp is going to allow you to trade their tokens 24/7, just like crypto. And he's basically putting his chest out saying, match that.
Which we unlock the full power of DeFi, and you'll be able to hold them non-custodially and transact on chain. And we have the technical capabilities to do all of this. It's just a question of going through the regulatory process. And we think that's basically the optimal path to getting customer adoption and counterparty adoption to these products in a way that's usable for the end users.
Thank you, Vlad. And even without the chalkboard, I can follow that. All right. The next question is from Ben Budish at Barclays.
Hi, good evening, and thank you for taking the question. I wanted to follow up on some of the earlier discussion and maybe some of the answers to the last question on what you see as the benefits of tokenized equities. I'm curious, just given some of your disclosures around the fee model and the potential spreads that traders in Europe may incur for tokenized equities, versus sort of your model of offering a very low-cost all-in service. How do you think about ensuring that execution costs stay low, spreads are tight? What are you guys doing to sort of ensure that, or how are you thinking about ensuring that sort of level of execution and keeping it consistent, perhaps, with what you see in your equities business elsewhere? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take that one again. So actually, if you look at the early feedback from our European offering, by and large, or I should say, far and away, the number one piece of feedback is they love the prices and the value on stock tokens. The prices are very competitive. The only fee that customers incur when they trade stock tokens in Europe is the 10 basis point foreign transaction fee, which is very, very competitive. So there's no other spread that Robinhood benefits from economically. And the aim is to pass back the full value, again, outside of the foreign exchange transaction fee, which is very competitive to our peers. So we think it's a great offering, great economics. We can scale it, and so far customers seem to be loving it.
See, that's him again saying that, do not worry. Robinhood is already ahead of a lot of other places like TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, Webull. We've got lowest transaction fees already. We're ahead of the game. He didn't say those names, but he's basically saying, I'm not saying them specifically. I'm not trying to get sued. I'm just saying that's what he's saying. We have the lowest fees already, so don't worry about that. We're ahead of the game. And he's looking at him.
All right.
Okay, I think they're going to take the next question. So we're going to go ahead and end the video here so we don't go around 20 minutes. But you know what? Guys, if you like this information, hit that like button, trigger that algorithm so it can be shared out to more people. And then if you know people that love this kind of information, share it with them. If you're really somebody's friend and financial literacy is important to you, it's important to them too. And the Blacksmith will see you in the next one. We're going to finish this earnings call because we have so many more to get to, like SoundHound AI. But we shouldn't be talking about that on the Robinhood call. Good night.